Carolina Panthers wide receiver, Brandon Zylstra. Brandon, thanks so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So I noticed that you're from Spicer, Minnesota, small town. But the other thing that I noticed is that you have 3 brothers. So tell me what it's like growing up with all those boys in the house.
We loved it. 3 of us are pretty close in age, and one is actually 10 years younger than me. But it's super nice. There's always people around. We were always super competitive growing up. You always had people to play with.
I was about to say,
is it
really competitive? Who's the most competitive?
I mean, it's hard not to say me. And that's probably me being competitive too. But I mean, we all definitely feed off of each other. But I don't know. I would definitely say me.
So what was dinner like? Was your mom having to like hold down the fort and be the referee?
Yeah, a little bit for sure.
Okay, so I read about your journey to the NFL. It was quite a grind and like so inspiring just to hear going from a D3 school to then the CFL and then the NFL. But I feel like a lot of people don't know much about the Canadian Football League. So what was your process and really how did you get discovered by the CFL?
All that was kind of on my own. Like you said, I came from a D3 school. I didn't have any scouts looking at me. I didn't have any agents talking to me. So I ended up really doing everything on my own. And that kind of involved I ended up moving down to Arizona just because I figured it was a better place to train. More opportunities down there. I could actually be outside versus being in the cold of Minnesota. Looked on the internet, looked at all the CFL websites, found out when all the tryouts were. Ended up going to these tryouts, and I think I went to 4 CFL tryouts, and from those 4 CFL tryouts, I had 3 contract offers. So they obviously liked what they were seeing, and it was very reassuring to me. Just these are professional scouts, and they're giving me great reviews back. All of them invited me to their mini camp and whatnot, and then there's something called a neg list down there, which is kind of confusing to a lot of people, but there's like 22 guys that they can put on this neg list. And if you're on the neg list, you can only go to that team. Like They have your rights to the CFL. Mm-hmm. And so when Edmonton found out that I was talking to a couple other teams, they hung up the phone, went and put me on that neg list immediately. And then called me back and it's like, now, if anybody talks to you, just let us know. Like, you're on our list. You can only play with us if you're going to play in the CFL now. So that narrowed my decision of kind of where I was going. And then we were kind of waiting until after the NFL draft because I was still working out for the NFL, trying to get, looked because that was my ultimate goal. And they knew that. And, essentially they're kind of my backup plan, but, I ended up going there and it worked out for me.
What was the moment like for you then after Edmonton and you do get the call going to the Minnesota Vikings? That's your home state. Like, how special was that for you?
No, it was super cool. After that second year in the CFL, I had a lot of success up there. And so then we had a bunch of different teams kind of reaching out to us. I went and did, I think I ended up doing 5 different workouts. And then we just kind of tried to look at the best situation for me, the best chances to make a team, just kind of looking at the best offers and stuff. And fortunately, I ended up being with the Vikings, which is a team I grew up watching. A lot of my friends and family are in Minnesota, so it was a chance for them to come watch me again.
Definitely.
So it was definitely a special moment for me. It's definitely something I was super excited about and really looking forward to.
So what are you up to now? I know you're with the Panthers. What does your daily routine look like?
Since kind of quarantine started, it's been, waking up, going to work out, then I come home, refuel, and then we jump on our team meeting. And that'll be for a couple hours. And then after that, we might hit the second workout of the day if we didn't finish our running or something from the morning. Otherwise, I'm just trying to keep myself busy. I might go frisbee golfing. Been doing a lot of fishing back home. There's lakes everywhere around me.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of friends back home that do a lot of that. So I'm just trying to keep myself busy while, staying safe, of course.
So do you have any like hidden talents then other than football? What do you do when you're not playing football? You said fishing, and what else?
I'd say one of my hidden talents is something my family's done. Like I said, there's lakes everywhere around us.
Yeah.
Is water skiing.
Okay.
competed doing that growing up, so I can do a bunch of stuff probably people don't even know really exists, like barefooting, skiing without skis on. I can do that like forwards and backwards and a bunch of different tricks with that. So that's definitely my hidden talent. It's definitely something I had a passion for growing up. My family's still very passionate about it. Still pretty active with it. So
That's really cool. I didn't even know about that. That's super neat. But you seem like a really dedicated player. Obviously, you don't get to the NFL from the story that you have without being super dedicated. So are you someone who like writes goals for yourself, and are you a list person?
yes, that's something I've done since I was really young. I actually just told the story to somebody else. I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago, but
Really?
I had one of my best friends in high school. He would always take like a big poster board, write all of his goals on there, and then put it somewhere where you'd see every day. So his was above his bed. And I saw that, and I saw him, achieve some of his goals that when you looked at them the first time, you thought they were, crazy, unachievable and whatnot, but, he would actually accomplish them. And so I thought that was super cool. And so I started doing that to myself. When I was living, back in college and in the CFL and the off-season stuff, I'd always write my goals on my mirror because that's something you're going to look at every single day. And so just like the more you see a goal that you have written out, the more it seems like it's obtainable to you, the more it seems like it's supposed to happen for you. So that's something I started to do. And, a lot of those stuff started coming true and I started actually exceeding some of those stuff. So I'm a big believer in that kind of stuff.
That's a really neat story. Definitely inspiring. I like to keep little note cards by my mirror, so I do something similar to that. I like
Yeah.
it. One last question. Like, if you had to go back and do it all again, like, what would you tell yourself? Or maybe, like, what would you tell someone who's in a similar position as you at that time?
I would say, if I were to go back, I always say I would not try to change my story because, I made it into the person who I am today. And, I'm proud of who I am and what I've done and everything. And I think a lot of who I am is obviously because of my story, having to grind, take an unconventional path, having to learn and go fail all these times. But, if I were to go back, I would probably trust myself a little bit more kind of in high school. I feel like I always kind of had this chip in my shoulder where I always felt like I was better than I was ever portrayed. I always felt like I had more to give, like I had a really high ceiling that I wasn't at yet. And I was kind of trusting myself with that, but not enough to go take a chance walking on to like a D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a D3 school, I didn't have the opportunity. I didn't have the looks from scouts and everything. And so I feel like if I were to go back, trusting myself walking on at some kind of D1 school, that it would just made my process a little bit easier because ultimately I've always wanted to play football in the NFL. It's been my goal since I was young. I probably could have made it a little bit easier on myself, but at the same time, like I wouldn't trade my story. So
That's awesome. It all worked out in the end. So,
exactly.
well, best of luck to you for this season with the Panthers. Thanks so much for taking the time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah.